Alright, today we're going to talk about 6.1 notes, percents, and decimals. Alright, so we're going to talk about percents and decimals. So the handy dandy thing that I think of when I think of percents and decimals to decide which way I'm moving my decimal. So to go to a percent or a decimal, you're going to be moving your decimal twice. But the handy dandy thing that I think about is Dr. Pepper. Okay, I think about Dr. Pepper because if I'm going from a percent to decimal, I move it that way. Okay, I move it to the left, so I move it to the left too. But if I'm going to decimal to percent, I go D to P, so it goes to the right too. So let's go ahead and look at number 1. So this is write a percent as a decimal. So if there's not a decimal, you should know there's a decimal at the end of every number because then you have zeros next to it. Okay, and we think of Dr. Pepper. So right now it's a percent and we want to go to a decimal, so we're going to move that decimal over 2 to the left. So 1, 2, I put my decimal, I add my 0 in front, so my answer would be 0.35. That would be it as a decimal. Okay, moving on. So here again it's a percent, so I'm going to go Dr. Pepper, I'm going to go percent to decimal. So I'm moving it, here's the decimal, move it over twice, 1, 2, put the decimal, so this would be 1.60. Moving on, number 3, so it's percent to decimal again. If you want, you can write Dr. Pepper. Okay, percent to decimal, moving this way, and we move it twice. Here's already the decimal, so you move twice this way, put the decimal, and so it would be 0.748. Okay, keep on going. So here's percent again, so 0.3, Dr. Pepper, moving it this way, and we can move it over 1, 2, and if there's nothing there, you add a 0 in front, so this would be 0.003. That would be your answer. Okay, now we're going to go vice versa. So we went decimals to percent. Now we're going to go, or we went percent to decimal. Now we're going to go decimal to percent. So I'm going to write my Dr. Pepper. Here's my DP. I'm going decimal to percent, so I'm moving that way. So here's my decimal right here, and I move it over 1, 2, put a decimal. So this is 123%. Moving on again. So Dr. Pepper, going from decimal to percent, we move it twice over this way, 1, 2, put a decimal, so this would be 49%. Moving on, okay, decimal Dr. Pepper, we're going decimal percent, so we're moving it the same way to the right, 1, 2, put, so this would be, oops, I don't need that 0 in front of it, okay? So then I would just have 2.4%. Okay, make sure if it's a percent, you're putting the percent sign. Okay, again, Dr. Pepper, going decimal to percent, moving it over twice, 1, 2, put decimal, 88.1%. Okay, moving on to number 9. Now 9, it says write the percent as a fraction in simplest form and as a decimal. So let's first write it as a fraction. So percent always goes over 100. So we go 48 over 100. What goes into 48 and into 100? 2, right? So let's divide out of 2. You could do 4 if you realize that. So let's divide out of 2. We get 24 over 50. Oh, we can still take another 2 out. And that becomes 12 over 25. And that would be your answer because nothing goes into 12 and into 25. Okay, now again, we're making it percent to decimal. So here's 48%. Remember Dr. Pepper, we're going percent to decimal, so we're moving it 2 to the left. So here's my decimal, 1, 2, put a decimal, so 0.48 would be my decimal. Okay, all right, keep on going, number 10. So percent goes over 100 again. Okay, so I have 15.5 over 100. We cannot have decimals in the top. In the numerator. We do not want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the decimal over 1 here. When you do that, you have to move it 1 over here. If there's nothing there, you put a 0. So this is really 155 over 1,000. Then 5 goes into both of those. So 155 divided by 5 gives you, 5 gives you 31. And then 1,000 divided by 5 gives you 200. Okay, that's the answer in fraction. Now we do decimal to percent, so we have 15.5%, and we're going percent to decimal, so we're moving that way. So 1, 2, put decimal, 0.155. There we go. All right, number 11, same thing. Percent goes over 100, so this goes Thus, we're going to write that 84.95 over 100. But then again, we can't have decimals, so I'm going to move it over twice here to get rid of that decimal. Move it over twice here. So it really becomes 8,495 over 10,000. Then we divide by 5, so 8,495 divided by 5. So we divide this by 5, divide this by 5. I get 1699 on top. Then I do 10,000 divided by 5, which gives you 2,000 on bottom. Okay, make sure it's simplest form. Okay, that is your answer. Then we need to make it a percent to decimal, so 84.95%, and we're going Dr. Pepper, so we're going percent to decimal. So I'm moving over twice, 1, 2, put a decimal, so 0.8495. All right, last one. It's a word problem. So people with severe hearing loss were given a sentence and word recognition test 6 months after they got implants in their ear. The patients scored an average 82% on the test. Write the percent as a decimal. So it's percent, right? So percent to decimal. So we're moving it over twice. Here's the decimal, 1, 2. So my answer would be 0.82. All right, that is 6.1.